should we consider a dedicated vacuum solution for the CNC? That is the question. We all know that most power tools throw off quite a bit of dust, and we try to capture that dust with some sort of vacuum solution. The CNC is no different and throws off quite a bit of dust and chips. So the question stands, should we dedicate a vacuum to the machine? Hope to answer that question in this video. Well, I think it depends on your situation. Can you afford a dedicated vacuum? That's really a personal decision we all have to make. It's the choice between expense and ease of use. Second question there is, do you already have a vacuum that can play that role? In my case, I have two. I've got a Festool and I've got a shop vac, both of which I've connected to the CNC. They both work really well. The thing is this, the shop vac I use for a lot of other things around the shop, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to constantly connect and reconnect this hose up over through my little setup here just for dust collection for the CNC. The Festool, same thing. I'm pointing to it back here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Same type of thing. Again, I got to drape it over and I plug it in, and I use that tool, the Festool vac, for a lot of other things too, in particular things like sanding. And it's just kind of annoying going back and forth, plugging and plugging hoses. So I thought to myself, actually I thought to myself after I went to Home Depot and saw these things, was, you know, maybe a dedicated vacuum for the shop vac would be a good idea. But I really didn't want to spend a lot of money on the whole process. So accidentally, or fortuitously, I was in Home Depot the other day and I saw this thing, a Buckethead. Basically, it's a vacuum you put on top of a bucket. This is inexpensive. I think it's 25 bucks. Bucket, $5. And then some additional hoses and accessories. This was 50 bucks. Probably not necessary, but it was there. I was there. I had my credit card. So such is life. So what I want to do in this video is explore putting a bucket head on a bucket, attaching this hose up through my setup here into my CNC, putting the bucket down underneath the workbench over here, and just seeing how well it performs. Does it perform well enough to replace the Festool and the shop vac inside the shop for CNC dust collection? I'm hoping it does, because these are pretty inexpensive solutions for that particular use case. Okay, let's see what comes in the bucket head here. Okay, this is what we have inside the bucket head. We have the bucket head itself, comes with a filter, a rubber band on the filter. The cord looks to be about 6 feet long, and we have this truly useful, or I should say useless, 4-foot hose. That's not going to fit much of anywhere. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this. In addition to the bucket head and the bucket, I also bought this little adapter kit for about 10 or 11 bucks, just in case the hoses don't quite fit into the dust head here of the shapeoko. And inside this rigid auto detailing kit, there's a whole bunch of hoses and things. Let's open that up and let's see what we got in there. Looks pretty good. Another coupling, another adapter, another brush, and looks like a much longer hose. Okay, installation, I don't think could be any easier. You place the bucket head centered right on top, click it down. If you want to use the handle, just pull it right on up. That's about it. So next we take the hose, which I've plugged in to the shapeoko dust chute, wrapped it up over the top here, and we're going to plug it right in here. We've plugged in the unit, and let's give it a turn on and see how it works. You know, surprisingly quite a bit of suction there. this may be a winner. Let's give it a test run, cut something out, make a lot of dust, and see what happens. Okay, so for our test cut, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a little tray. It's going to have 2 pockets in it. We're going to use a bowl bit for that. We're going to use a little round over bit to ease all the edges, and then we're going to use a 1/4 inch down cut spiral to cut the whole piece out. For those of you guys watching the playoffs this weekend, go Giants! And let's go over to the CNC. Hey, for this video, we're not going to go through the full CNC video process. We're just going to do a quick setup here, just to get the right height and just to cut this out. We're really testing out the vacuum system, so please bear with me. Okay, here we go with the vac, and let's see how we do. Let's see, lower this just a little. There. Near disaster there. I don't know if you saw that, but this thing sliding right off. So let me put it back on. Alright, we got our first failure here. Not sure what happened. The hose is all clogged up. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see inside here, but basically deep inside this tube there's some chips. I don't know if you saw some of these little chips that were coming out, these bigger ones, and they got stuck inside the tube. So let me clear that out and we'll get back to cutting. So there's the one downside, I guess, to having a smaller diameter hose than the shop vac. I think this might have also happened inside the Festool, because the Festool also got about an inch and a 1/4 hose. So let's clean up and keep going. Alright, so we look at the cut here. Cut's kind of nice. There's no leftover chips of any sort. Looks really good out there. So I think so far Buckethead, other than the one mishap with the splinters causing a little jam, it looks to be doing pretty good. Okay, so much for testing the vacuum function. I forgot to turn the vacuum on. Sorry about that. Let's change out the bit to 1/4 inch. We're also going to move this clamp because it looks like it's going to get hit. I think that one's okay. And then we'll continue testing. Okie dokie. Looks like we took a left turn when we shouldn't have. So the cut is a fail, but the vacuum I think is a success. So far so good. Alright, the results are in. The Bucket Boss as a dedicated CNC vacuum. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 8-9. Somewhere around there, because one thing, I think the hose is a touch bit on the narrow side. So we saw some of the chips as they got in there, they clogged it up and it just stopped it from working. So for that perspective, we knock off a point, maybe a little bit more. Other than that, you know what? It did an excellent job. It did as good a job as the Festool for this particular application, and it did just as good a job as the shop vac did also. So you know what, for a fraction of of the Festool cost and half of the shop vac cost. You know what? The Buckethead and bucket, it's like 35 bucks. You know what? It kind of works for this particular application. You get the Vic seal of approval here on the Bucket Boss for the CNC dedicated shop vac. CNC dedicated vacuum application. In case you guys are wondering, I am not sponsored by Buckethead, Home Depot, Shop Vac, Festool, or anybody else for that matter. These are just my own opinions, and you saw it work here just the same way I did. So you know what? I'm just happy with this purchase, and I think that if you have a similar application, you'll probably be happy with the same purchase.